A new note on happiness, lessons from a new science by Richard Layard. This excellent author has a new approach, a different perspective. I have already mentioned, and I have some notes on the giants of positive psychology, Martin Seligman, Tal Ben-Shahar, Sonia Lubomirsky, and a few others. They approach happiness, well-being, life satisfaction from the point of view of science, but positive psychology, mostly. That's what they do. They're the ultimate experts in that domain. But Richard Layard is an economist. So he has some very interesting, and I'd venture to say original, points of view, because he brings in, for instance, the question of taxation. What has taxation to do with happiness, with positive psychology? One would say very little or nothing. It's counterintuitive. Speaking of taxes, the very notion of taxes would bring spirits to a low level. But he proposes that taxes can be used for the general benefit, and not just for welfare, physical, real, literal welfare, but also well-being, a life satisfaction from the point of view of the spirit, of the mind, if you will. And how does he do that? Well, he has a very strong argument which nearly makes me a left wing. No, I'm joking, but that's again a very paradoxical situation. I come to this book with a right wing point of view, not extreme right, God forbid, that's for the likes of Wilders, Le Pen, and eventually Trump in America, but still right wing. Now, Richard Layard, though, speaks about this documented fact that our happiness, our life satisfaction depends very much on the community and what happens in our surroundings. In other words, if somebody is well off, sort of, but the others are way better off, he will be unhappy. That's why in a test, when asked, participants chose to have $50,000 a year when the others in the community have 25, instead of opting for 100,000, twice as much, but in an environment where the rest have about 200,000 or so. I'm not sure about the exact figures, but you get the idea. So, in other words, what taxes would do would cut off from the peak, from the very well off, and bring about a more equal society, a less divided society, which ultimately would bring life satisfaction for all involved. That's why they say in Denmark, Sweden, the Nordic countries in general, they have the highest scores in tests for happiness levels and life satisfaction, because the society has extremely high taxes, among the highest, if not the very highest levels of taxes in the world, but that helps in that we don't have the middle class, not to mention the poorer ones, look with envy and frustration the opulence of the very rich, which happens in other societies, America and China, by the way. We all know it as a communist and supposedly egalitarian society, but it has increasing discrepancies between the very rich and the rest.